Latinos Out Loud podcast. Latinos. Yeah, that's what this is. Latinos Out Loud.
Yo.
Dime.
Pero I'm like, yo, and she was like, yo, and I'm like, yo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Wow, there's a whole conversation in yo.
Yeah, because he came at me like, yo, and then I was like, yo, and then she was like, yo, and then my mother was like, yo, oh, and you know, it goes on and on and on.
And then I walk in the room like, yo.
Right? It was crazy, yo.
And Fred came in like, yo.
With the over-exaggerated yo. Yeah. That sounds like a real scenario. You get it?
Scenario, yo.
Yeah. What's the scenario? It's Latinos Out Loud, yo. What's up? We're here, the three of us, Rachel, Jamie, Frank, Jamie, Rachel.
Rachel, Jamie, Frank. That's kind of like how some women have like long ass like 5 names. My name is Rachel Jamie Frank, and I'm from Tallahassee, Florida.
Well, hi, it's the Latinos Out Loud podcast, yo. Shout out to everybody for tuning in right now. Usually we save that for the end of the episode, but today I want to switch it up a little bit. And thank you, the listener, for listening right now, or the viewer on YouTube viewing us as we speak. How you guys doing, Jamie?
What
Frank?
up? What's up? Chilling, girl. You know how we do.
On?
Yo.
It's great. It's awards season, you know.
Oh,
yeah.
This time of year.
This time of year, I think recently the Golden Globes, people got their globes.
They got that
Globes
globe.
of gold. Yes.
They got their globe on.
I love the globe golds. Yeah.
And it was cool. It was interesting. They had Gerard Carmichael was the host. And he kind of, I don't know if you saw his opening monologue, but it was very like awkward because he, you know, his whole thing was that the only reason that they asked him to host because he's Black, and the people who run the Golden Globes have controversy for being racist. So
wow.
So and they didn't even have an award. They didn't even have a Golden Globes last year because of this controversy. So because he basically was like, only reason I'm doing this is because, you know, faces and then it was, and he had a lot of pauses, uncomfortable pause, but that's his style of comedy. I just don't know if that's like good awards host kind of comedy. You know what I mean?
Damn. So he
bombed. Some things don't matter. It bombed, but if you like him, you're like, yo, I like what he did. And if you don't, or if you don't know him, you probably were like, I maybe not ask him to come back next year, you know?
Oh.
Damn.
Wow.
It's different than Ricky Gervais, who just straight up dissed everybody.
Right.
Carmichael was dissing like Hollywood in a broader sense. You know what I mean? Gervais would just diss like an actor or an actress. You know, it was like, oh, look at it, Brad Pitt. Yes, look at you. Right. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. All right. Great movie. Also was the name of the documentary about Amber Heard shitting on Johnny Depp's bed. You know, because that was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Also, sorry.
Yeah. Who knew you knew how to write like an opening monologue for an awards show?
Only for Ricky Gervais. Any winners that any of you saw from the Golden Globes that you were like, oh, I'm glad that won.
Yes, I'll go first. Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary. Hello.
All right.
Woo woo. Women of color winning Golden Globes. It's really exciting. And I love Abbott Elementary. It's such a great story. You could tell there's like sketch comedy written all over that mother effer. And it's just really fun to watch women of color win. Yeah.
Rachel, I could totally see you being like a Latina Quinta Brunson. You know, what is your Abbott Elementary? It's in you. And once it's unleashed to the public, I think it could be a hit.
Oh, Jamie, I love you so much. Thanks for saying that. I look up to people like Quinta Brunson. I completely look up to her. She's doing it. She did it. Her ideas, put them on paper. And she's like now so super successful. It's really great. It's just a story of triumph that inspires me. So thanks for that call out, Jamie. I'm working on it. I'm working on it day by day.
Hey,
Right?
hey. Frank, do you know anybody who won that you were like, oh shit?
No. I like, you know what I like
Oh,
about the Golden Globes always? I
yeah.
like the interaction between the actors on that platform and
Yeah.
how they, they're all sitting and they're sitting close to each other. I've always found that to be like, you
Right,
know,
and they're not afraid to like drink and get
right,
tipsy
right.
during the award show. I
Right,
like
that's how it feels. It's like a party, just with the with the big boys, with the producers, with the big time actors. I like that interaction. So I know, I'm gonna go watch on YouTube like the interaction between them. There's always like a little beef or something. So I'm gonna check that out.
Can I shout out another actress? You know, I want to keep it in the female family. I just want to shout out Jennifer Coolidge for winning for
mm.
White Lotus. Interestingly enough, I was just on a press junket with her, and oh my gosh, what a funny, incredibly talented woman. But yeah, she's so funny. Love her. Who else?
The and I'm looking for his name. But also speaking of everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. It's a long name. The one of the actors from that won best supporting actor. Um, I'm just looking for his name, but he played when he was a kid actor. He was the Asian kid in Goonies,
Oh,
and he
Oh,
was
right.
that's your
in
favorite movie, yo. That's one of your
eh,
favorite movies, bro.
yeah,
You mentioned that
I
movie
have
like
a
100
picture.
times, bro.
I have a little
Hey,
picture here about the Goonies and
Yeah, yeah.
Indiana Jones. He was
Nice.
oh my God, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
he
I
was
Yeah,
can't
short
yeah,
stop
yeah.
round.
The Asian
her.
kid. I remember him.
He
I
was
can't.
short round,
Short round.
and he hadn't. Oh, so yeah, Ki Huai Kwan. That's his name.
Yes.
He hadn't worked for like 30 years. You know, he
Damn.
basically he never like he had those two successes early on, but like because and according to him, it was hard to get. No, Hollywood didn't want him for anything,
That's crazy.
and only up until when he saw Crazy Rich Asians become a hit, he was like, maybe I should start getting into acting again because there might be some roles for me now, So,
Wow.
and this was his first role after all that time. And
Wow.
look where they got him. We got into the Golden Globe. So it is actually very an inspirational story that he was able to, he could have just been, a
Like the
two-hit
guy from the
wonder as a
Cosby's.
kid. Like all these child actors, they get thrown to the wayside, and they never could. But he's literally like he's made a comeback. So and now he's a Golden Globe winner, and he might win an Oscar too. So that's pretty
Wow.
cool to see him, and I think inspirational just for anybody, like specifically in the entertainment business, but in any field, like it's never too late to like try to follow your dreams. And his dream was to like get back into Hollywood and be an actor again, after like all that time. It was cool.
Damn.
Uh,
Right?
but yeah, so it's cool. The Golden Globes.
And shout out to Zendaya. Another one. I just want to shout out another female.
We
Wow.
love Zendaya. So the Golden Globes. Another piece of news was interesting. Gwen Stefani from No Doubt. She was
Oh.
in the news recently. She's facing a little bit of backlash because somebody asked her if she felt that she was appropriating Japanese culture throughout her career. Like basically, like this interviewer was like, "Yo, do you think you've been cultural appropriating?" And she was like, "No, I feel like I'm Japanese in my heart."
Come
She
on.
kept saying like, "I feel like I'm Japanese. I'm a little bit of Japanese. I'm a little bit of like Orange County. I'm a little this." And
Mm-mm.
it now like everywhere in the news is basically like Gwen Stefani says she's Japanese. So I don't know. I mean, do you think that like her thing is that cultural appropriation is like she feels that she can appreciate other cultures, as and be inspired by other cultures. The flip side of that, and I think even the reporter who did the report who interviewed her was like, that reporter was Asian, and she thought that when celebrities do want to cultural appropriate, they only take the parts of the culture that they want, that they think are like marketable or like sexy or like popular, and they forget the whole other side to it. So if you're talking about Asian culture, is she talking about the violence towards Asian people that have been happening recently? Like, you know what I'm saying? So Rachel, Frank, what do you think about cultural appropriation? Like
I
in the
go
way
first.
that Gwen is being accused of it.
She sounds like a wiggler, you know. I don't
A
know if you guys know.
wiggler, a wiggler.
Yeah, you know, the N-word, but the wiggler, you know, white
with the-
guy trying to dress black.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
she's taking,
wow.
you know, the dress, you know how it is. I mean, oh, everybody looks black to me now, like the Latino kids, the white kids, all with the dressing, with the pants down. So they're doing the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing.
But she only did it for a specific like album, and you know what I mean.
Right,
Like
right.
she
She's
literally like did it because it was popular for her at the time to do it, and
right.
then all of a sudden it was no more, and then she went back to regular Gwen Stefani. So I don't know, Rachel, what are your thoughts?
I guess what Gwen Stefani should really do is don't speak, just
Don't
let
wow.
her
stop.
be. Girl.
Wow,
Oh,
wow.
don't explain it. Don't tell me cause
Go
it
ahead,
hurts.
Frank. Yeah.
I mean, she did Holla Back Girl, and you could say that Holla Back, that's kind of urban. So she's taking another type of thing. Like, do you really see Gwen Stefani in her regular life being like, Holla Back, yo?
She got no back, yo. She's flat, yo.
Well, no, I didn't mean
Oh my
that.
God, Frank.
Frank.
Oh my God. And
No.
you know what else? Remember she had the EVE stage? You know what I'm saying? She was
Mhm.
repping her body for the hood with Eve. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
best
She had
BFF and all
with the
that.
pants hanging, with the pants hanging. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, now she's doing the country thing, like where I think she did a song with Blake Shelton, and now she's like trying to get a country audience. So considering the source of someone who's like really,
Mm.
who's had a lot of different like um, you know, like not facelifts, but like image lifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She or image changes. I don't know if I can trust her to be like, oh my God, I really just appreciate the culture. I think it's more like whatever is she's in the mood to kind of like she'll take, and if it, and she'll merge it with what she does.
Mm.
And again, that doesn't mean you can't do that, but don't go on an interview and be like, oh my God, but I feel like I'm Japanese. You still, there's a way to balance like being inspired by another culture and using it, but also shining a spotlight on people from that culture, right? I don't remember Stefani ever spotlighting any Japanese artists or anybody in the culture during that period. It was all about, this is just my new look now. This is just my new, you know what I mean?
I got one for you guys. I think the best duo to ever like put a culture on using their culture was Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan did it, Wu-Tang Clan did the 36 chambers, and they put everybody on to that, to the Asian culture. I think if you use it like that, I think it's a beautiful thing. But when you take it and you use it for yourself and, nah, it's no good.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan is definitely culturally
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck
Yes.
with.
I
They ain't
never
nothing to
really
fuck with.
like, I just, because when you just are like, oh, they're just a fan of Kung Fu movies, but they're taking a lot from that culture. And I mean, I don't even know, I don't know if you could say that they've like, are they appropriating in a good way?
They use it in their lyrics, they use it in their flow, they
Yeah,
But
use it
is
in
that
their
in a good way?
Right.
Is
Of
that-
course, but imagine I grew up with Bruce Lee, with Sonny Chiba. I grew up back in the days. Every Saturday there used to be kung fu movies. So back in the 70s, it was about kung fu. So even kids from the inner city started to love the Asian culture. So you start appreciating it, and you know what, you mix it into your own culture. Like, you know what, we go to Flor de Mayo. I go to Flor de Mayo. The guys are, they Chinese, Spanish. We kind of have the same things, they assimilate with African Americans also.
Oh,
So
New
it's,
Yorkers know. In New York, I don't know in other cities, but it's definitely in New York. The Chinese Latino restaurants are the
Thank you.
shit. They're
Thank
the
Yeah,
you.
that's
shit.
a thing. That's a
Come on.
cultural.
In a
that's
good way, the
staple
shit, not
in
the
New
Right.
York.
shit.
Come on.
Mhm.
And every hood,
And they know more
God.
Spanish than me. They'll be like,
Thank
oh,
you.
¿qué tú
Thank you.
quieres? Plátano maduro.
See, you guys, but is that the inappropriate adoption of the Chinese culture and customs? Like, was it appropriate for Wu-Tang to adopt that culture, inject it into their music, their artwork, their merchandise? What did they do
Yeah.
that was appropriate? What did they do that showcased the practices, ideas, traditions
Yeah.
of these members of society, or did they just take it for marketing purposes? I
Yeah.
think that's a question to really delve into. Maybe not here, maybe not now, but I think it made me think for a second.
Yo,
Like,
we're gonna have to get the woo here, and we're gonna have to talk about Method
I
Man
wouldn't.
and
I would, but I
Raekwon.
think
Yes,
everybody. I think
Frank,
everybody would be
yes.
too afraid to like to to accuse him of that. I think it's just like just
That's
let
true.
Wu-Tang do what they need to do.
That's a good point.
But
Wu-Tang
it is.
Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Fuck
after
with
that.
at all.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're
So, but it is a question. It is a question.
Anyway, this is a really interesting conversation because
Hmm.
I don't know if we quite have the answer, but there's a fine line, isn't there? Gwen Stefani.
Yo,
La Eloeros, if you know any other artist that you think has cultural appropriated in a positive or negative way, negative or positive way, because we've been talking about mostly negative, why don't you hit us up on our toll-free line,
yes. I wanna hear about
$3.95 per
this.
minute.
978 Latinos. And shout out to the original Dandada of cultural appropriation, Snow in Fama.
Oh,
You know, Cinderella
oh
Manega
my God.
Bleo. I lick it boom boom down. Oh, come on, the Jamaican.
Yo, where they get that dude from, man? He was like the Vanilla Ice back in the day of like the reggae world.
Freaking Snow. That was his name.
Toronto, straight out of Toronto, man. Snow was.
OG.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how he
Snow.
managed, and I don't know how many people at the time thought he knew he was white.
Right?
Like, I know his name is Snow, but like, I didn't think they thought it was literal. I didn't think maybe they thought it was like a cocaine, like slang.
That's what I
for
thought.
cocaine.
That's
And
what
then
I
you watch
thought when
the
I was a
video.
kid.
Well,
yeah.
guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
White snow. Yeah.
That's a good way to end the period at the end of the sentence. Snow.
Snow.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I licky boom boom down.
No.
We have a great guest, by the way. There's more show. There's a lot more show.
Yeah, there's more show.
There's more show. Well, there is more show, guys, and
Aye.
more entertainment.
Woo.
This is really, really exciting. I had the pleasure to interview a radio guy from Florida who's an actor as well, killing it in this space. His name is Carlos Alberto Navarro, and he's repping hard for Latinos down in the Southeast. It was really fun talking to Carlos because he's getting really innovative in this space, you know, with his tools and everything he's doing. You may see him, may have seen him on Disney Plus. You may have seen him on Hawkeye. You may have seen him Prison Break. He does a lot of great stuff. He's also on iHeartRadio on 104.1. So without further ado, I would love for you to check out this interview with Carlos Navarro.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hello, Eleros. This is the part of the show here at Latinos Out Loud where we interview someone amazing, okay?
Wow.
This man's... Oh, let me give you an introduction, Bubo, okay? Siéntate, okay? Take a sip of your soda.
I will. I'm going to
you
listen. I'm just
deserve-
going to listen, okay?
You deserve all these flowers that I'm about to give you, okay? Te voy a dar las flores. Okay, his career spans over 20 years. Entertainment. You guys, you may know him from The Walking Dead. You may know him from Red Dead Redemption 2. You may know him from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which we love here at the Latinos Out Loud podcast. You also may know him down in Orlando on 104.1 Monsters in the Morning, which is also the #1 podcast in Florida or Florida. You know what I'm saying? And in the top 40 podcasts in the country on iHeartRadio, please put your hands together for Carlos Navarro.
Wow. Rachel, what an intro. What an intro. I feel honored to be here on LOL with all the LOLers. How we doing out there? So good to see you.
Yo, okay, guys, LOLeros. Carlos and I have been talking for a few minutes behind the scenes here, and I'm sorry if I already have the giggles, but I do, okay? I already have the giggles because we're having fun. Yo, shout out to all the Orlandians out there. Mad Latinos out in Orlando right now. Are you repping for Queens out there for us? Like, what you doing out there, son?
I was one of the first foragers over to Florida in '86. Well, you know, that's the trick.
Pioneer.
Yes. A pioneer, like the Oregon Trail. No, this was the Florida Trail, okay? And it started with me as a little New Yorker leaving Flushing, New York. Mommy, papi, ¿a dónde vamos a ir? And my dad was like, vamos a ir a Orlando. We're like, da, 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 da. And we went over here, and there was nobody here. There was no Hispanics here at first. It was like, what? And then slowly my people came from all around, basically Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Mexico. And
so
now,
true.
now we got it. Orlando on lock. And it's a beautiful melting pot of all communities, especially Hispanic communities.
Wow, yeah, it so is. And I think it's one of the happiest places on earth.
It is.
I think if you're in Orlando, you're going to be happy. I mean, Mickey is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Even on the drive to Orlando, you start seeing the like Mickey electrical towers and you're like,
Oh,
"Wait,
yeah.
what?"
We own it all. Oh boy, we got you. We even own your power. Oh boy. I'm a Disney diehard. Rachel, I got married at
You,
Disney. I got married at Disney,
you
yo.
did? Talk about it because you're not the only
Mhm.
one that I know. This is incredible. I've heard quinceañeras at Disney, weddings at Disney. Tell us about your experience. We're going to get to your career
Oh, it's
eventually,
okay.
but
We
this
got
is
time.
amazing.
We got time. We got time.
We
Listen.
got nothing but time.
Yeah, look, as an Orlandonian and as a wife, my wife who has been obsessed with Disney, and me too. I've always been a theme park kid. Yeah, I was obsessed with Universal Studios and Steven
Course.
Spielberg and all these things. So then we met, and love was there. And luckily, her dream and her parents' dream was to be married, have her daughter married at Disney at the Grand Floridian. That wasn't me, mommy. Mira, if it was me, it would have been like, we can't do Disney. Vamos at el City Hall. But they got their baby girl hooked up and did this lavish, beautiful wedding that it was the best night of my life up until my second daughter was born. And it was just
God
magical.
bless.
Actually,
Oh.
December 1st is going to be our anniversary coming up, 15 years.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
Hay que aplaudir eso, okay?
gracias.
Because
Muchas
15
gracias.
years is incredible.
Thank
And
you.
God bless you both and your two daughters. Wow, you're a dad, you're a showman, you're an entertainer. Do you sleep?
No, I do not. I hate sleep. No,
Okay.
I have to.
That's my
sleep.
question.
You know, I'm very, very conscious with my time, Rachel. Very, very, very conscious with it. I write out a lot of stuff. I plan out my day. I don't like to waste any part of it because I am a father and I am a husband and I do enjoy my work. And so I do get extra focus, as I'm sure you do. But if you live indiscriminately, you'll indiscriminately make mistakes. And so I'd really try and stay focused. And then you need sleep because if not, man, you can break down so easily. It's so important.
Well, I want to hear a little bit about your motivational speaking because it
Thanks.
seems like you're a coach as well. And I want to talk about that because we do broach the topic of mental health here when we can on the Latinos Out Loud podcast. We have a great sponsor, BetterHelp Online. So, we've been talking about therapy, now coaching. I would love to hear about what your specialty is and what you do to motivate. And are you just connecting with the Latino community or, talk to us about your clientele?
I am an equal opportunity professional coach. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Puede ser Latino, puede ser Jamaican man. You could be from
Lord have
Asia.
mercy.
Lord have mercy. No, luckily, Rachel, I've been on kind of focus on my mental health for a while because I went to the deep valleys. I messed up. I was as crazy as I am now. I used to be a drinker. I used to wild out. I used to fight. I used to be real crazy. And then I had to get a hold of my life. And in the midst of that, I was sharing this on the radio. Like I do a talk show. So all of Florida was kind of on this journey with me. So they didn't think I was going to make it. I got arrested. I screwed up. I really, really screwed up my life. And it was really because of drinking. And then thankfully, I had an amazing wife, a fiance at the time that believed in me. And I really took accountability. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming my mom. She did her best. I stopped blaming my situation as a Hispanic in this world, whatever. And that was my beginning of my personal development. And because of being able to share that, it's allowed me to connect with people at every level that are going through something because they've heard me come out of something. And so I share those things that I've done and real practical things. And it's all connects about energy, just like you and I have. Like the second we jumped on, boom, we had energy. I knew it. We could tell people are lacking energy in their life because they're tired. They got anxiety. They're not living what they want to live. You and I were living a piece of our passion as we speak. So that emits happiness. And so many people listening right now have this anxiety and guilt because they're not even living their passion just a little bit. And that's something I really focus on, is helping people with that.
Carlos, thank you so much for opening up that window of vulnerability right here, right now. You know, I think that's always, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's always a barrier I think that we face in that, like, even just talking about the things that we're taught to be taboo. Ay,
Mhm.
no habla. Don't talk about your mental
I
health.
know. No, tú no
No,
eres loca. Yeah.
no. To me, it was a lot of, no, we don't talk about miscarriages. We don't talk about infertility. Here I am with one side of my family, fertile myrtles on my dad's like Jewish side, and on the Dominican side, everybody's a freaking fertile Mirta. And here's Rachel is somewhere in the middle, the Juminican that can't make a baby.
Juminican, get out
Yeah.
of here. Juminican. I never heard that. You are Juminican. That's fantastic.
Mazel tov,
Oh,
merengue, all of it. Okay. But I hear you on the, like, coming to terms with it and talking about it. It just feels so good. It felt, I kept that inside for so long. And then I decided to use my comedy as a conduit.
Good for you.
And
You can
now I'm
tell.
just like, we're talking about miscarriage. We're going to talk about infertility. We're going to talk about it in the Latinx community. And I want to segue to you. How has the response, how's Florida treating you after being so vulnerable with them and allowing them to be inside this, like on the inside of this journey with you?
Well, Rachel, I think it's been overwhelmingly awesome. But I first hit the other side of it. The pendulum absolutely swung to the other side of, like, and it's weird because I was living my worst times of my youth of 20s and 30s in the public. And I would keep messing up and I'd get arrested and I'd be in the news and people were like, what are you doing with this city? I was I was like, as low as you could get. This is the part of vulnerability that is why people don't do it. As you say, you're like, but you know what? A lot of people have been in this position. And maybe it's, maybe it's not losing what you had. So I had to lose everything and then rebuild. And then because of that, I realized, oh, that's the key. The key is showing the worst part, and then that'll connect with everybody else. But we live this life of, oh, no, we don't talk about miscarriages, like you said. What are you talking about? It happens with so many people. We don't talk about, especially in the Hispanic community. Somebody asked me the other day, well, how is mental health in the Hispanic community? I said, it's probably one of the worst. You think you're going to get a bunch of Hispanic dudes talking about their mental health with the machismo that I've seen at the highest levels, with the testosterone, unfortunately, that a lot of us have?
Talk about it.
And they got so much trapped inside of them. And I see these dudes, and these are my friends and my cousins, and I'm like, why are you trying to be your dad? Your dad grew up in South America. Your dad grew up in Mexico. Your dad grew up in Dominican.
Break the mold.
We're not going to live the
of
same
emergency,
way.
break the glass. Yes, I'm starting to be like your hype woman right now.
No. It's just, I feel, and maybe because I grew up, and you can understand this. I didn't grow up with dark skin. I don't offhand in the 90s, you didn't know I was Hispanic. Now I am, right? You know this. Back in the day, you're only Hispanic if you were dark skinned. They'd walk up to you and they'd say, you're not Hispanic, you're white. And I get that. It's a race, whatever, ethnicity. We get that. But you understand how much it's changed. So I feel like we have had this bizarre advantage of seeing the black and white of it all.
I love what you've done with your platform and what you're doing for the community. So, being on the mic, as I'm sure you'll attest to, this is our, you know what I'm saying? This is the, I hate to use the word again, but this is the conduit.
Sure.
And what we choose to do with it is what we choose. There's some out there that use it just to make people laugh, and that's fine too. It's okay. But I see what we have in common is that we use this flow to also bake in some messaging that the Latino community needs to hear.
Word.
I hope LOLeros right now, I hope that some of these words that Carlos has shared with us, and I fessed a couple things on this episode, which is cool. I mean, I talk about things here and there. If you piece the puzzle together, you know what I'm saying, you get the whole equation. But I appreciate both of us vibing out on that. Like, let's just talk about everything, Tip.
Talk
What
about it.
Yeah, yo. So you've been arrested a few times.
Mhm.
You were in the public eye, it sounds like, when those things happen. What are some tactics that you use to flip the script? What could you share with the LOLeros as far as like very niche or specific or hyper focused tactics?
I stopped being a victim. Number one,
Mm.
it's a victim sounds like a tough guy, and I play a lot of tough guys on TV. I think that's what also helps me is I look like this tough guy. You see me, look at you, man. Ain't gonna lie, I can handle myself. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I can handle myself. Don't worry. But the point is that, man, screw you, or not being able to talk about. I'm not scared. That sounds like tough guy. But you know, you really have to be able to break down and say, I'm hurting just like you. You know, I'm upset about this. I'm frustrated. That's how intelligent people talk, right?
Mhm.
And I think for me personally, you know, that's something that I wish more people would just understand. Everybody is going through some S.
Yes. You
And
can curse here, by the way. By S,
oh,
he
okay,
means
cool.
shit.
Everybody's going through some shit, man, for real. You know, and I think some tactics that I used specifically for not drinking, because that seems to be a lot of who I talk to is people with drink. That most people, you know, some people are okay with drinking, most aren't. Like it leads to one way or the other. Unfortunately for me, it didn't work out that way. So I have a lot of tactics and tools that I use for when you're in an environment like entertainment where there's drinking everywhere, when they're going to be around these situations. And it was drinking for me, but whatever that issue is with you or that other person, have a plan. I wish people would understand. I have a notebook that I write everything in. And so many people walk day in, day out, and they don't write a lick down about their life. And I go to them and I say, so you've walked all day today and you haven't written down a single thing that you need to remind yourself. You're a computer. Your brain can remember everything. Your brain can, no, it can't. So it's about being real, taking ownership, having a plan, and moving forward, as opposed to, man, I wish things would get better.
I love that. That's really, really good advice. We do often play the victim. We do often be like, yeah, but I'm not, we Latinos, and you know how people treat Latinos, and you know, it's just fucked up.
Mhm.
Well, I like to live the same way, and I like to say that, you know, if I can move the needle, even like 1 degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even trying to move it like, you know, right angle status,
Mm-mm.
90. We don't
Mm-mm.
even gotta go 90.
Nope. We go
I think
5.
I could go 5,
We
and
go
I'm
4.
very 4.3, and I'm content,
like
you
that.
know? And I'm just like, yo, but I moved it 4.3 degrees
Mhm.
and in the right direction for my community. I love what Latinos Out Loud stands for. I'm not just saying it because it's
Absolutely.
my baby, but it's my baby.
I get
Don't
it. You
be
got to
talking
be
about
proud.
my baby.
Exactly.
Don't be talking, you know what I'm saying? It's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's my boo,
Mm-hmm.
my baby boo. But Latinos Out Loud was also built for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need to start amplifying, we need to elevate, unite, and I hope that that's what comes across with this podcast.
I think something that this is absolutely what this is, but something that is understated and not given enough credit to is the evolution of our immigration. Okay. And what do I mean by that? We should gauge where we are as Hispanics in a sense of a lot of aspects of life, of American life, because that's what I'll just say, quote unquote American life, as opposed to prior immigrants, Italians, French, Polish, Russians. They immigrated before us, right? If you looked at the first generation of French and the first generation of Italians, they spoke fluent Italian. They spoke fluent French. They spoke fluent Celtic. They had all of those things that they brought from the old country with them. Then as you go generation down, that's why you meet an Irish guy now and he's a therapist. And that's why you meet a French guy now and he's a personal development person, because we're down the line of immigration. I know it's a big kind of thought, but we're still early in this and we've made quite an impact on society and we're still figuring it out. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But yeah, it's evolution. It's
Yeah.
acculturation as well.
Ooh, I like that word. I never heard that. Culturation. That sounds good. I like that.
Acculturation. Yes.
Culturation.
As
Oh.
we evolve, we become more and more acculturated to what is, I guess, the mother culture, Americanization, if you will. I'm not really a fan of that term,
Yeah.
but becoming more acculturated, especially for a Latina, I'll speak for myself and I'll say, like, there's a spectrum of acculturation because I'm still very Dominican. I'm
Sure.
super Dominican. You don't see my freaking cape? Like,
Of course, it's the sign of any good Dominican. Their cape. I'm always
hello,
like,
adios. Pero yeah, I go to the Heights and I feel home.
Sure.
Okay. But also, I go to Brooklyn and, I'm with my Russian people. До свидания, что ты делаешь?
Oh.
Ничего, девочки, просто.
Whoa.
And I'm also like, okay, I can chill here. I can fit in here. I like borscht. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is also this like I'll talk about it with my kids. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so messing up on not ingraining the language and maybe as a culture, as like, a lover of the culture that I am.
One of my biggest guilts
Me
as
too.
a Hispanic person. Now, I was going to ask you, how
my
old are your kids?
God.
How old are
7.
Okay.
I have 2 boys. They're 7 and 4. How
Okay.
about you? You have 2
I
girls.
have 2 girls, 11 and 2. Okay. So,
Whoa.
okay. So, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Any parent knows, like, whoa, what the F were you smoking, dude? This is true. We tried to do this. This was intentional. And I'm glad we did because the
I
oldest.
wasn't going to say anything, but
I was like,
I
y'all
did the
messed
math.
up, huh? It broke, huh?
My brother and sister are 9 and 10 years older than me. So I did the math a long time ago on that. And I was just like, hold
Okay.
up. Okay,
Yeah.
está bien.
Well, I got a question for you later on that because I always wonder that when I hear that because I'm like, are y'all close? Anyway, but my point is that in the sense of I realized with my 11-year-old during COVID when I was her teacher that I taught Spanish, right? And we had a lesson plan and it was fun, but it's been this constant guilt in my life. I actually had this guilt before I had kids. Okay, I know it's weird, right? But I always wanted to be a father. That's one thing. Our dream of mine was always to be a father. That's always been something,
Yes.
But I would think to myself, like, but I'm attracted to blonde hair, blue-eyed girls. Like my wife is blonde hair, blue-eyed. Trust me, I like them all. But I happen to marry a blonde hair, blue-eyed, English-speaking woman. And I was like, the way I learned, it was my first language. And that was with my mom and dad and grandmas. And I didn't know any different. And so I realized I can't even teach English. How the hell am I supposed to teach them Spanish, without it just being part of everyday life? Is your husband or your father, is he Hispanic?
Boricua.
Oh, okay. So you guys speak Spanish in the house then?
Not really.
Oh, really?
It's tough because he's, Boricua. I mean, the Spanish is Spanglish and,
I know.
En la casa, like my mom does a great job. Okay, and here's where, guilt on guilt on guilt.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
My dad is from, American, but he was a Spanish teacher. He's a retired. Imagínate, Carlitos. Should I just shut it down? Should I just pack it up?
That you just
pack it
beat
up,
me.
guys. I'm gonna pack it up. Yo, he's a retired New York City Spanish teacher.
Has he ever taught them anything?
Yes, he's good with them, but I'm the one that's messing up. I gotta.
Okay. But listen, no. You know what? Let's stop this BS guilt trip on ourselves, okay? You don't deserve it, Rachel. I don't deserve it. Because you know what? Look, yo, check this out. You see this right here? It's a tattoo of my grandma. God rest her soul, Ita. My little Cuban grandma, okay? If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't speak Spanish today because I was, as maybe you were, Rachel, and maybe it's different now. But as a kid in the 90s, I didn't want to speak Spanish. Everybody who I knew spoke English. And I was like, I don't want to. It was my first language. And my grandma, abuelita, God rest her soul. Carlos, sabiendo español va a ser la cosa más importante de tu vida. And I was at the time, Rachel, it's like, shut, Graham, come on, Ita. Come on. It was, but I would pass that on to other people to be like, why? It's stupid to know Spanish. I know it sounds weird, but that's just how it was earlier. And I
Abuela
swear,
knows best.
she knew it the
Abuelita
whole time.
Ella
No
sabe de todo.
sabía. Mira, sabía santería también, so maybe she had some little, other things going on. But the fact of the matter is, all of my career, speaking Spanish and being connected to the culture of every culture, not just Cuban and Peruvian, studying Mexican accents, studying Uruguayan accents, understanding the culture. So when I book a role, I was playing a Colombian in this one, a Cuban, not just quote unquote Hispanic, which is what they were looking for. That's how I make that difference, right?
Ooh.
And so I think that's why I got her tattooed on me. She knew this little, at the time, 75-year-old Cuban lady straight from Cuba was like, Carlos, so I said, she would practice with me. You and I don't have that, Rachel. Maybe you do. I don't. She's gone. God rest her soul.
No, I don't have any grandparents alive, sadly, but what a gift she gave you. And I'm so glad that you like holding on to that gift. You have it inked on your body.
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank you for the gift that you gave us. You've given us several gifts during the time that we've spent together. Thank you for sharing your stories.
Yeah.
I know for certain, I'd bet my weekly allowance that you have connected with several of our LOLeros with your
Thank you.
stories. And your triumph is what really is moving. And you're continuing on that trajectory. So to more triumph, Carlitos Navarro, thank you so much for coming on the show. Congrats on the podcast, the
Thank
radio
you.
show. Are there any roles that we should like be looking for right now on television for you?
You know,
Can you talk about anything?
Marvel has been very good to me. They keep popping, these guys here, the Tracksuit Mafia. It's on Hawkeye. Actually, it's a Christmas show, so you can definitely check it out, and you can see my crazy ass on there. But I just want to tell you, Rachel, I really appreciate this. I connected with you in a great way, in a different way. And not to diss anybody else I've done a show with. I've been very, very fortunate with. But like you got my cousin vibe, which is like I love, you know what I'm saying? Like where we go like to a party and like we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna talk shit, we're gonna party.
Totally.
If somebody punches me, then you come over with that other punch. Like
I got the ring. Look, you see the rings that I wear? Why you think I wear these rings on my right fist? Means I gotta get somebody a knuckle sandwich in the streets of New York City. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I got your back, primo.
I know.
I got your
You're my
back,
prima.
primo. You
Prima,
want the
that's
40
it.
ounce? Yo, I got the 40 ounce on deck. Let's go. No drinking. No drinking. That's it. No drinking. That's it. No.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that.
No, we don't need that. Pero thank you for sharing your stories. Carlos Navarro, it's exciting. Everything in your background, your energy, are those little, what do you call those little figures?
What are we looking at?
The things in the background that you got.
These. Oh, okay. Yeah, these are all different. Like I got Tupac, I got Nolan Ryan. My daughter and I love baseball, so I got a little Shohei Ohtani. I got these like toys that kind of remind me of like I love toys, right? And you want to have those memories. Like this is my accomplishments over here. Then I got my family over here, and then I got my mentor straight ahead. Then I got you want to always be, tapping the little mind. Yeah.
I love your vibe. I love it so much. Would you please come back to the Latinos Out Loud podcast?
Absolutely. Sign me back up. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Carlos Navarro, tell everybody where they can find you on social so they can follow you.
Ooh, so easy. Easy. At To The Top Carlos. To The Top Carlos. Also check out my website, IamCarlosNavarro.com. If you're interested in any personal development, motivational speaking as well, you can find it all there.
Love it. Thank you for your time. God bless. You. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Represent Orlandians. Whoop, Orlando! Dígame huepa! And we're back. Amazing, right, you guys?
Carlos. Great interview. Yeah.
Carlos doing things, yo.
Yeah, he's doing big things.
Sorry,
I'm still talking like snow.
You're still talking like snow.
And we're doing big things.
Licky boom boom down.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in a lot, guys. Walking Dead. He's done Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
resume.
now he's Marvel's Hawkeye. So this is really exciting. Shout out to Carlos Navarro for showing us so much love. We'll have to have him back on Latinos Out Loud.
No doubt.
But why don't we get into
No doubt. We were just.
Oh wow, Gwen Stefani. I see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Frank even realized that. I don't think Frank even realized it.
I didn't get it, yo.
So let's do que lo que.
Let's do it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, vamos a bailar otra vez. Que lo que, 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 que lo que. 1, 2, 3, menéate otra vez. Que lo que, 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 que lo que.
it's que lo que, QLQ. You're out, Q and club concert calendar. Yeah, yo. Que lo que? Who wants to go first? Anybody? Up for grabs? Anybody? I'll go first.
All right.
Okay. So shout out to a really interesting film that I got to see, A Man Called Otto, which is coming.
Ooh.
Yeah, yo. It's coming out on January 13th. So check it out. Stars Tom Hanks, and it's like a family affair. His son is in it, Truman Hanks. Rita Wilson is doing a lot of the music in the film. It's really, really impressive just to see a family film. You know, it's nice to see that father-son dynamic, and it's freaking Tom Hanks. He's like America's sweetheart, you know? And also I want to shout out a Latina in the film that freaking killed it. A big shout out to Mariana Treviño, who's a Mexican actor who just blew it away, just like really blew everybody away. Like her performance brought you from tears to laughs and laughs to tears. Incredible film.
Yes.
So I had a really nice time downtown at Dot Dash Meredith in a very fancy schmancy theater. Actually,
Yo.
Jamie, we performed at that theater when we performed for Time Inc. We did a Room 28 holiday show in the Henry Luce Theater at
Yeah.
Dot Dash Meredith, all the way downtown by the World Trade Center.
I remember.
And
You look fancy. I look real fancy.
yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
place.
it's a really cool spot. And it's like all the way deep in Manhattan. But it was worth it. I remember like liking that space.
Yeah, yo.
Ooh.
So wait, what is Otto? Like, what is his
Yeah.
character? Is he like a dick to people?
You got to see the film.
Okay.
Oh,
reminds
come
me-
on.
Otto reminds me so much of my dad. Basically, it's this journey. He plays a grumpy old man, and the film tackles issues such as mental health awareness, suicide, a whole bunch of other things that I really would like you to just go see the film.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a spoiler here, but definitely some mental health awareness issues were brought to the forefront, which I appreciate so much in a film of this caliber with Tom Hanks and his family in it. But also this plight, this journey where the community uplifts this individual and raises his mental health levels. So it's kind of striking and interesting to watch a film where the community can do that, because there's some truth to that. I think the community can come together and raise people's levels of mental health awareness, and just make for a better community. But anyway, it was a really, I would say, fun film to watch, but sprinkled with moments of loss and tribulations that are relatable. And there were some moments that even I was crying in the theater. I was like, oh my God,
Damn.
I did not wear my waterproof mascara. What if Tom Hanks sees
Oh.
me and I'm like a black,
No wonder you didn't take
mascara-eyed
pictures.
mess?
Yeah, I didn't see pictures. You didn't take too many. You took only one. I noticed. You
She's
took
like,
one
I'm not gonna
before. It
take-
must have
I'm
been a
not
good
taking
film.
this selfie
Right,
if I
right.
have mascara on my face.
Yeah, I noticed.
Frank, I don't know what the like etiquette is here, or like what we should do when we go to events, but sometimes, LOLeros, sometimes I feel like just being in the moment and experiencing the event and not having to capture it for social media.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I was
got it.
so in the moment and witnessing greatness. One of my film heroes was in the same room as me. Tom Hanks is, every aspiring actor, writer, anyone in the entertainment field can just watch and, film by film, reminisce about all the glory that he shared with us in cinematography for this country. So I was amazed in being in the same room, and I didn't take out my phone that much.
Damn,
So, I
you
don't know how y'all
focus,
feel about that.
focus.
Yeah,
I would
yo,
be like, could you send my Wilson volleyball?
his
Wow.
talent is incredible. So yeah, and follow me, please, if you're not doing that already, at Rachel La Loca. And I will pass the mic to the next Kelo Kenton.
Shout out to Yero.com as always. Go to Yero.com. The men's it's a source for anything about Latino men that you want to find out. You go to Yero.com.
The lifestyle and news platform for Latino men.
It is the lifestyle news platform for Latino men. So go to Yero.com right after you listen to this.
Right away. Right away. Don't waste no time, yo.
Also shout out former co-hosts of this show, Juan Bago, Michael Diaz, and Anthony Palmini, who's been on the show a lot. They had a show, Bago Briefs,
All right.
a kind of a web series. And I'm in it for a little bit. I'm the friend who gives bad advice, so I'm pretty much playing myself. And I mean, the most of the show is like man on the street stuff that Mike is doing, but like there's these random little written scenes of mine that I just was like, I don't know. I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't know if it fits the show, but I like the scenes, so I like so, but yeah, check it out. It's just online. Bago Briefs. I guess you can go to.
Yo, I got one
look
question.
for it.
I got one question about Bago Briefs.
Yeah,
What is Mike carrying in that book bag he was walking around?
I don't know. I guess
That's like I'm trying to figure that out. He has something in that book bag. He's walking everywhere with the fucking book bag with a pen, right? He got a pen in his thing.
yeah. That's. I mean,
This guy
yeah. I don't
is
know.
something
I
else.
wasn't in the man on the street stuff. But I think I also had that question. I was like, it was an interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting outfit that he wore. He looked like a Boy Scout. So I don't know. You gotta ask the film crew that shot those on those days. I was in and out in 3 hours, Mom. I did all my scenes really quickly, but
Oh man.
but it's it's cool. It's very much like if you've seen Billy on the Street. It's
I
just,
saw also they came out in Channel 11, him and Palmini.
yo, everybody's doing morning shows. I mean, y'all,
Right? Shout out to
like,
Marisol Castro for looking
Ma-
out.
Yes. She getting mad
Marisol
love.
Castro really just look out for the creative Latino community in the city.
Agreed. Yes.
You gotta
Yo,
give
Jamie,
her
you and
props.
her have to do a Mets game one day. I'm gonna have to ask her next time I go on the show. Hopefully, if she ever invites us, you and her have to do a Mets game one day. You
A
gotta
Mets game, like in what? How do you
like in the booth with her, like when she calls the game. I would love because you are the two.
Announcing a Met game?
Yes,
I don't think she has the power.
I think she
I
may.
think there might be people like in the Mets, that run the Mets. I'd be like, wait, who is
I already
this
put in a
loud-
word. I already
Who
put
is
in a
this
word.
loud, annoying person in the booth right now?
I already told her you and her are the biggest Met fans I've ever met. So I put in a word for you, yo.
Well, Jamie, congrats on Bago Briefs. Tell us a little bit more about it because you guys were on the Rick H show yesterday.
Right. So
Uh, Got to watch
Um,
that interview. So you guys are doing a little press run on Bago Briefs. Tell us what you're proud of.
yeah, shout out to Rick H for having us on the show. Yeah, I just think it's like, and as we know us here, anytime you work with people that you're comfortable with, it's just the easier process. So it's I think I remember Mike telling me he was gonna do this, and I was like, yo, let me write some quick stuff for it and I'll do something quick, and he just, so so I like the balance of like my scenes like right in the beginning and then he has a bunch of other stuff, man on the street stuff. There's a lot of different like comedic elements to it. And I hadn't, like I said, I didn't see any of the man on the street stuff until I saw all the finished product, and I thought it really came out well. I was like, there was a lot of funny answers from people that live in Washington Heights because that's when a lot of the
Yo,
interviews
it's the
take place.
heights, baby.
Yeah, it's
And,
really funny. All the old people that he like messed with, they probably all want to
Yeah.
It was like him talking to a bunch of viejos that were just like grumpy and didn't want any part of him.
Like you can't script some of those answers, right? It's just real talk from real old like Latinos, like and they're talking about topics that yoga and
Wow.
and crypto, you know what I mean? Like
And
they're just like
CBD.
CBD.
What the what's going?
So yeah, it was really fun, and shout out to Michael Diaz and Anthony Palmini. That's really kind of their baby and their pet project. I kind of just have a little role in it, but shout out to them. It's a fun series, and I hope they get to do a season 2 of it.
All right.
Awesome.
And that's it. My socials: J Ferns Instagram, J_Ferns, Twitter. I think Twitter's still a thing. So yeah.
All right.
And Franklin Neebs.
Nibs, yo, guys, talking about the heights, bro. I don't know if you guys heard what's going on. Some big news. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if
Okay.
you heard in June what's happening in the Heights. Like the Tonys are coming to the Heights, bro.
Oh yeah.
Wait, we got Italians? We got Italians coming to the
Nah,
Heights?
not that. The
They're
Tony, like
opening
the
up a
Tony.
Tony DiNapoli's. I love that restaurant.
No, the you know the Tony Awards. You know the
The
awards.
Tony Awards,
Yes,
yes.
the
Broadway,
2023.
the
I
Tony
love when you do
Awards.
Tony
Yo.
selling.
In Washington Heights, United Palace. I think it's June 11th, 2023.
Right across the street from Malecón.
Go.
That's how uptown it is.
Rachel, you're gonna go in. You're gonna go straight from the Tony straight to Malecón.
Oh wow, the after party of the Tonys is lit at Malecón. What? It's gonna be crazy. The chickens are gonna be on fire. What? Yo, they're gonna have like gilded chickens turning in the window for everybody because this is a red carpet. This is a red carpet community. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yo,
I got fucked up last night with the Casa Les Miserables. I can't even say it. Les Miserables.
yo, all those white people gonna go to the Heights. I gotta see this. This is gonna be interesting, man. Oh,
It's gonna be all these
yo,
Broadway people.
it's very
Broadway.
appropriate that there are all these cats around Washington Heights, in honor of cats on Broadway. Literally,
Facts.
there are
Oh, my
cats on
God.
Broadway in front of United Palace.
It's gonna be rats on Broadway. Or,
Oh,
you know.
baby.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be like, I don't know if like somebody in the Heights will recognize like a Patty Lupone and be like, "Yo, what's up, yo, Patty Lupone, yo, I'm a big fan."
Right.
I know you.
Yo, but it's cool. I mean, I don't know. Like for people who don't know, the United Palace Theater
Right.
kind of wasn't used for a while. Like it was
renovated
it was
it.
this
Beautiful.
relic of a different time, and they didn't. It was just a building that was like I was just there for a long time.
Yeah. Lynn and his
And-
dad did his thing. Lynn and his dad really went in, and Michael Fiedelston. I'm hope Mino Lora,
Yeah.
all those people,
Right.
man. They really
They've-
Noma's now in there. So
Yeah,
shout out to that whole crew. They really put a lot of work in there, you know.
they put a lot of work in there, and it's it should be something that should be kept in good condition, because it's like when you go in there, it's a very majestic theater, like, and it's old school, like, but
Yep.
the architecture is like old, and it's one of the last really big like movie houses, because now they show movies, because Lynn, he does a whole thing where he does movies in the summertime where he just
Mhm.
he shows like his favorite movies and stuff like that. So it's a really cool theater. I'm glad that they kind of it's had its comeback, and now it's all culminating now, and now it's the Tony Awards, maybe some other award shows after that,
Yeah.
Incredible.
Can't wait.
It's great.
maybe MTV Movie Awards, not Movie Video
Ooh.
Awards,
It makes sense. We are entertainment enthusiasts. We over-index at the theaters, maybe not the Broadway theaters, but shout out to Lynn's dad, who's also trying to get Broadway more into the Latino community with his nonprofit Viva Broadway. But I think there could be some more work done in that arena, and I do think that bringing the Tonys to Washington Heights will increase awareness a little bit about the Tonys. And Wash Heights is a very artistic, artsy community.
We're getting
A
up
lot
there,
of-
baby.
A
Coming
lot
up.
of creativity is coming out of the Heights.
Let's go.
Man, I love going up there so
I
much.
know. Like, yo,
I
you're gonna have to
do.
put you on the Walk of Fame already, yo.
Well, I
Ah.
just, it has a lot to do with pride and evolution, watching my people.
You can't let go. You can't let go of Brooklyn, right? I know you got Brooklyn in your heart.
Never that, but
You
the
can't let go of
The
Brooklyn.
Dominicanness in me and all the family that I still have up there in the Heights will also never let me lose the love that I have for it.
All right?
Anyway, let's keep this rocking. We got to sign off on this episode.
Facts.
Shit.
All right, guys.
All right. Is that everything? Anything else you guys want to
I
say?
think so.
We
This
good?
was a que lo que, long que lo que, but it was good.
Awesome. Okay, make sure to follow us at We Are Latinos Out Loud across the socials. Give us a call, no big whoop, 978 Latinos. It's toll free. I mean, your service charges may apply, but if you got a bum plan, that's not my fault. Anyway, call us 978 Latinos. Rachel La Loca, Frank Nibbs, Jamie Fernandez. That's it. On that note, we are out.
All right.